Confidence is showing you all angles of my fat head. Dude, why am I already tired and we're only on the bottom shelf? Is your butt in my... Hi everyone, my name is Tia and we are going to clean my bookshelves together today. It's been a long while since I purged books and the goal for today is to be ruthless. It's gonna be chopped up in this. Okay, welcome to the purge. I have books. There's a double tier over here. Literally just ran out of space, so I'm gonna keep My Year Abroad. I just got it, and then The Book Thief is one of my favorite books. starting off strong. I have kept these books because I'm upset that I bought this new. I might get hate for this, but I honestly did like It Ends With Us. I don't think it's a romance. I think there needs to be trigger warnings about domestic abuse, domestic violence. It was when I just started getting into reading, I think in 2021. The beef that I have with this book is she doesn't market it well. I think I saw that Colleen Hoover doesn't believe in putting trigger warnings at the beginning of her books because she's scared it'll ruin it. That's awful. That's an awful take. Are you blocking my way maybe? Can you scooch over? Sorry. I don't see myself rereading this. Oh, you're gonna sit here? And then It Starts With Us, awful book. I'm happy that they got their second chance romance because second chance romance is one of my favorite tropes, but at what cost? This entire book is 50% a recap of that book. This did not need to be made. It's not worth it. Oh my god. And these are gonna be really hard to give away. I think it's time. I read these when I was so sick. I went on a business trip in late November of 2022 and I went to New Jersey / New York, freezing cold. I'm not used to cold weather at all, so I didn't dress properly. There were people sick on my flight. I came home and I was dead in bed for a whole week. To mitigate my sickness, I bought these. The first one I ate up. This is a fun book. What is her name? Heather's Book Club, but she has a TikTok where she's explaining there's a difference between good books and fun books. I will rate some books 5 stars. That means that they have phenomenal writing, the characterization is good, and then there are also my 5-star fun reads. The writing is not good. The book is not good, but I had fun reading them. This is how I feel about this series. I think I gave these all 4 stars, like a love triangle between brothers, and I don't really love that trope. I respect it. I personally thought that it was so clear, even from the beginning, who she was gonna choose. The first one was definitely interesting. I like all the riddles and stuff. Then it just kind of went off its rocker. But you were a fun time. And then I have a bunch of free notebooks. We bought them from Costco when I was 12, and I'm 23, and we still have so many notebooks. I'm still gonna use them one day. Let's pull out this stack. I just got The Glass Hotel. It's a signed copy. Is your butt from my library, so I'm gonna keep this. I just got it. Another Colleen Hoover book. And I picked this up in 2021. I heard so much about it, whatever. This couple agrees to meet every November 9th, but I've heard so many awful things about the male main character. I'm not ever gonna read this. After I do, by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna give this away. I thought this was quite a heartfelt novel. Lauren and Ryan, who are a married couple, and they're kind of going through a rough patch, and they decide to not have contact for a whole year. Take a fully fledged break and see if they really want to continue their marriage after the break. When love and lust are no longer tied together, what do you value? This is a love story about what happens when the love fades, but I remember really enjoying it. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. There's a lot of water damage. I think I got this at my library. I tried to get into the audiobook. The accent is so strong. I read my audiobooks at 1.5, 1.8 speed. It was so hard. Literally know nothing about it, but a lot of my comments when I mentioned it in my thrifting video said that I should give it another shot. I'm glad that I found it because I actually didn't know I still had a copy. I thought I gave it away. Genetics, the most exciting developments in life science, from Mendel to the Human Genome Project. I'm gonna keep this. I love human genetics. I think it's one of the most interesting topics that anyone could study. This book needs to go immediately. This is kind of an unpopular opinion, but I definitely did not like Archer's voice. There was so much smut in it, it was distracting. If you've read it before, I did like what happened at the end with Archer, but I guess that's all I say because I don't want to spoil anything. I think I gave this a 2 stars. Dude, why am I already tired and we're only on the bottom shelf? The Song of Achilles, beautiful, 5 stars. I think it deserves all the hype that it gets. Bridge to Terabithia, one of my lifetime favorites. My 4th grade teacher gave it to me. Not this copy. I wish I still had it, but I think I gave it to my cousin. Bridge to Terabithia changed my life. Josh Hutcherson in the movie, literally my first celebrity crush ever. I just feel like I had to have this on my bookshelf. Hey, see what I mean? He totally bites my books. Hamnet, bought this during Target, buy 2 get 1. Don't regret it because I don't regret it. Why did I sound British? I love historical fiction. I believe this is about Shakespeare's family, but Shakespeare's never brought up in the book. I Am the Messenger, same author as The Book Thief, so good, 5-star read. Henry Marsh, and finally, Matters of Life and Death. As a retired brain surgeon, Henry Marsh thought he understood illness, but he was unprepared for the impact of his diagnosis of advanced cancer. And finally, explores what happens when someone who has spent a lifetime on the front line of life and death finds himself contemplating what might be his own death sentence. I'm gonna keep this. I found this at a free little library. I read the memoir When Breath Becomes Air. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name. He was a doctor who was diagnosed with an advanced cancer, and this is not a spoiler, but he passes away, and the book is published after his death. That was such a profound, heartbreaking novel with a lot of important sentiments, so I feel like this will kind of bring a lot of interesting perspective as well. From Lukov with Love. This just goes against fundamentally what this book is because it's a slow burn sports romance. One, I freaking love sports romances. Cracking the pages. But this, look how big it is. Is there truly a need for it to be so long? Maybe I need to read it again. I'm not gonna reread it. It's so big. There's so many other books I want to read. I don't think it was bad. Maybe I'm not a slow burn girly. I was like, okay guys, chop chop. I need to move on with my life. I do want to try Mariana Zapata's All the Roads Lead Here. I think I would like that one. The Drunkard's Walk, How Randomness Rules Our Lives. I just thought that this was interesting. Found it at a library sale. Verity by Colleen Hoover. I am in my thriller/mystery era, but I do want to read it. Where'd You Go, Bernadette? It's an ingeniously entertaining novel about a family coming to terms with who they are and the power of a daughter's love for her imperfect mother. Aww. Catch-22. It's something so famous that I haven't read yet that I want to read. 1,000 Dogs. There's dust flying everywhere. That's disgusting. My girlfriend is a dog person through and through. Oh, it's in a different language. Okay. Is it bad that I've literally never looked at the words close enough to realize it wasn't even English? Cinema of Obsession, the erotic fixation and love gone wrong in the movies. I found this at a library sale and I thought it would be a super interesting coffee table book. I'm not really a movie fanatic, but I still think that this has a lot of interesting things to say about pop culture. The Beatles illustrated lyrics. Also found this at a library sale and it just made me happy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's beautiful. Don't think I can part with it. It's just too fun. The Da Vinci Code. I'm never gonna read this. It's a bitter little world. The smartest, toughest, nastiest quotes from film. I might give this away. Again, I'm not really a movie fanatic. Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me? Mindy's memoir. I don't think I will read it. How Starbucks Saved My Life. This just seems like something I might find interesting. I'm kind of going through a quarter-life crisis or spiraling in terms I'm just spiraling in terms of what I want out of life and what I want to do as a career, so I don't know, maybe that might be helpful for me. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I think I got this from the library. Brief History of Time, From the Big Bang to Black Holes, Stephen Hawking. Genius Man. I truly don't think I will ever pick this book up. The Visual Guide to Over 300 Dog Breeds from Around the World. My girlfriend is a vet student and I just thought she might get a kick out of this. Who knows, maybe we'll put it in her clinic waiting room or something. My Body, My Choice, The Fight for Abortion Rights. This is something that is super important to me. I actually used to volunteer/work for the nonprofit Exhale, which is an after-abortion emotional support hotline. Truly so close to my heart, so I will not be getting rid of this. I actually found it in a thrift store in Hawaii. If you want to check out Exhale, I will link their website below. It's a text line, fully anonymous. I could go on and on about it, but if you know anyone who needs that resource, I just thought I would mention that. The Circle by Dave Eggers. I don't think I know anything about it. Cover is cool. Boy Swallows Universe, Trent Dalton. This is a very YA book that I will keep. I am trying to find cute YA books to get into. What I don't like about my organization is I sometimes forget about the books that I have. I did just get these two from a used bookstore, Minor Feelings. I guess I haven't learned that yet, so I'm definitely going to be keeping these. And The Mountains Echoed, Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. Absolutely be keeping these. Speak, Okinawa, stunning cover. It's a memoir by Elizabeth Mickey Brina. She comes to terms with the embattled dynamics of her own family and reckons with the injustices that reverberate throughout the history of Okinawa and its people. My parents bought me this for my birthday last year. All the right places, Places, sad YA that I just got, The Magic of Strings of Frankie Presto by Mitch Albom. I genuinely think I have all of Mitch Albom's books just because they are so easy to find at free little libraries, at libraries, legit 50 cents. You don't have to spend money on Mitch Albom books. And I've not read one of them. So I need to get on that. His writing is quite inspiring and I like that kind of writing. So The House on Mango Street. It's super short, I heard. It's pretty good. I found it at a free little library. The Hating Game. So this is an ARC that I found at a free little library and this is my favorite cover. I wish she didn't switch the cover. It's the dark blue one. This one is so much cuter. So I have the ARC of this one and then I have the fully published regular cover. Am I really gonna tell the internet this? I bought All Quiet on the Western Front, one of the greatest war novels of all time, because of a Haikyuu fanfiction. His favorite book was this. I had to know what was so good about it. Man Called Ove or Ove. I can't remember because I read the audiobook. Made me cry at the end, but happy tears. Love Frederick Bachman, literally favorite author on the planet. This one is a book that I would recommend to everyone. Very heartfelt story about an old man and he's kind of that grump, like a grumpy sunshine platonic relationship because a new family moves in next door and the wife is this bubbly, really sweet lady who wants to get this old man out of his shell. Truly makes you tear up thinking about it. A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. Jack Edwards, I think, recommended this. 7 Days in June is an ARC that I found in a free little library. I think this is Second Chance Romance. And the author's name is Tia. I thought that was cool. Wow, I'm really not getting rid of many things right here. The Death of Vivek OG will also not be giving away. We Are All Fine Here. Found it at a library. Bought it on the cover alone. Discontented woman married with a teenage son and fast approaching middle age who dallies in her past with startling, humorous, and bittersweet consequences. I don't think that really pulled me in the way that I wanted it to. I'm gonna give this away. I'm so brave, for real. Magonia, found in one of my thrifting videos. YA sci-fi. Green Island by Shauna Ryan is a lush and lyrical story of a family and a nation grappling with the nuances of complicity and survival, raising the question, how far would you be willing to go for the ones you love? I cannot give this away. This is also one of the hardcover copies at Hero 8. I have the Harry Potter series. I have 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 because I'm trying to buy them from thrift stores. I don't want to buy them new because I don't want to support J.K. Rowling, yet to find the hardcover of 1 and 4. I loved Harry Potter when I was a kid. I read the first one and then I watched the rest of them. The last one wasn't out in a movie form by the time I was ready to watch it, so then I read the last one. So I've only read the first and the last Harry Potter, and people say Ginny is way cooler in the books. I'm not gonna get rid of those. Jodi Picoult, The Book of Two Ways. A Thousand Splendid Suns. Oh, library sales are so tempting and fun because you literally shove as many books as physically possible in a little tote bag and they give you the entire tote bag for $10. The rules are that the handles need to touch the top. If this is the bag and these are the handles, you can put books here. So I'll just be grabbing random books. The White Dog Fell from the Sky. What is this about? I didn't even know that I have this book. The Bitter Heart Eats Its Owner. Ooh, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. How can I give it away if it starts like that? Returning home, she finds Isaac missing and the white dog waiting loyally at the end of the drive, dehydrated and malnourished. When she goes in search of Isaac, what she finds out will change her life. I don't want to give it away. I'm not going to give it away. I want to read that. And The Great Expectation, found it at the library, and I just don't have a copy of it. Or I might, but this one is really pretty. I'm gonna keep that one. Confidence is showing you all angles of my fat ass head. I'm just being really vulnerable with you. Once More We Saw Stars, a memoir by Jason Green. How do we survive the unimaginable? In the first weeks after losing his 2-year-old daughter, Greta, Jason Green has a stunning revelation. There will be more light upon this earth for me. Unforgettable memoir about the resurgence of joy and faith in the face of the unfathomable. Oh my gosh. It will change the way I look at the world. Truth be told, as beautiful as this sounds, I do not think I will ever be strong enough or in the mood to read something like this. At least that's how I feel right now. So I think I'm going to give it to someone who will really appreciate all his wisdom. That's something that I didn't even know that I owned this. I probably got this 2 years ago at a library sale, put it in there, and I never touched it again. That's the problem. Best bear ever. A Little Year of Liz Klimo. I got this as a gift from the women and the girls that I used to babysit for, so I will never give this away. The art is just so funny. For the last time, you don't have to bring the ball back to like the dog that he's playing tennis with. That's funny. I like that. The Goldfinch. Oh, look how sexy and floppy that book is. This has good flop to it. Donna Tartt wrote one of my all-time favorite books, The Secret History, which I have a sexy ass copy of. I'll show it to you later. It's on my agenda to read. It's so floppy. I think this is my floppiest book that I own. I do have 2 copies of The Book Thief. I think I'm just gonna keep this one. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I have not read this yet. I will. It's kind of a funny story. The author, who himself spent time in a psychiatric hospital, created a remarkably moving tale about the sometimes unexpected road to happiness. This is How You Lose the Time War. I've heard so many good things about this sci-fi lesbian book, and I tried to get into it. I think it's on purpose. You're not really supposed to know what the hell is happening in this book at the beginning. At the time, I wasn't in the mood for this, and I haven't been yet. The Life of Pi, truth be told, I'm gonna give away, but I like the cover. The Decagon House Murders, Japanese cult classic mystery. This is so up my alley right now. It's crazy. I haven't really been reading my physical book. I'm definitely an audiobook hoe. It's just so much easier with working a 9 to 5. So hard to find time to actually sit down and read books, but I feel like you miss a lot of nuances. You can't fully absorb the book when you read an audiobook. It's just so much easier washing dishes, doing the laundry. I listen to audiobooks in the shower. A lonely island where there were a bunch of unsolved murders that happened there. So it's haunted. College mystery club that decides to take a fun trip to that island, and then the first club member turns up dead. The remaining amateur sleuths realize they will need all their murder mystery expertise to get off the island alive. This is YA/murder mystery. I feel like I will like this. I Am Not Myself These Days, a memoir by Josh Kilmer Purcell. I think this is a queer memoir, right? Pretty sure I pick this up because it is queer. I might be completely out of pocket. This man could be straight. I think I bought that on eBay. Homefire, I will definitely be keeping. Pachinko will be absolutely keeping. I think I have another copy of this because I wanted to give it to my mom. Have not read it yet. No floppiness, really. Disappointing. I love historical fiction. Lee's complex and passionate characters, strong, stubborn women, devoted sisters and sons, fathers shaken by moral crisis, survive and thrive against the indifferent arc of history. Bone by Eurissa Daly Ward. I got this book as a gift from one of my very, very best friends. We go way back in high school. She and I actually will randomly just text each other and be like, hey, I'm in the mood for XYZ. What book can you recommend me? I love her to death. I do enjoy poetry, but I have to be such a mood for poetry. I'm rereading Crush by Richard Seikin, which is one of my favorite all-time poetry collections, but I got 75% through it and I just can't finish it. I just don't want to read it anymore. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I got a little bit of the ways into it, and people were like, okay, be warned that if you don't have a social life, this book will make you sad. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to dive into that. And I know that you can see that I have paperback and hardback. Hear me out. Beartown is my favorite book series of all time, probably ever. I think I like annotating hardcovers more. I like letting people borrow paperbacks. Us Against You is literally my favorite book ever. I have a list of lifetime favorites. I can't rank them, but this is number 1. Us Against You, and then everything else. Frederick Bachman is so masterful at creating such complex characters. You learn about all these people in this town and the neighboring town. They're so distinct and full of life, full of character. His characterization is crazy. I will say you should look up trigger warnings about sexual assault. That mostly is an ongoing theme in the Beartown series. The first one, Beartown, is the only one that has scenes/recollection of it, but as someone who steers very far away from sexual assault in any sort of media and does not look at trigger warnings, I like to go into books blind. It did throw me off a little bit, but I feel like it was done in a way that didn't trigger me. Every person is different, and please be mindful going into it. I don't want to steer anyone away from reading it, but I also don't want you going into it and then being really blindsided. I would hate that. Do with that information what you will. There are so many important themes about community and individuality. It's just such a complex story. Truthfully, one of the most beautiful pieces of literature ever by Frederick Bachman, translated by Neil Smith. We'll literally never get rid of these books. So there's this cover of Us Against You, this cover. Got the hardcover, the paperback. If you crack open my chest, during open heart surgery, you'll find a copy of Us Against You in it. I don't think I did that justice at all. I didn't script this. If I really sat down and wanted to talk about it, I would do better. But please look into it. If you like going into books blind, just be mindful. He did it in such a way. It didn't feel like a sleazy plot device. Obviously, it's important in this book and the progress of the story, but it's so central and it makes so many phenomenal points that everyone needs to hear. I don't think it should steer you away if you're mentally ready for that, obviously. Girl, Woman, Other, also a recommendation by Jack Edwards. Will not be getting rid of that. Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom. My booktube bestie Caitlin said that this is one of her favorite books of all time. Her page is literally called Six of Pages, so that means a lot. All the comments in the videos that have Six of Crows in it have said like, you have to read it. Oh my god, one of my favorite books of all time. Definitely high on my TBR. Frederick Bachman, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She Is Sorry. I haven't read this one yet. It is a story about life and death and one of the most important human rights, the right to be different. I will read anything this man writes. I will read his grocery list, his Apple terms and conditions. It doesn't matter. I bet that will make me cry. What is not yours is not yours. Stunning cover. Enchanting collection of linked, intertwined stories cleverly built around the idea of keys, literal and metaphorical. Keys to a house, the key to a heart, the key to a secret. The keys in this extraordinary book not only unlock elements of the characters' lives, they promise further labyrinths on the other side. Ooh, this is such a book for me. When I was a kid, did you ever have like a hyperfixation about trinkets when you were a child? Mine were keys. I would collect lockets, keys. I would hide the keys, and my grandma gifted me, I left it at home in California, a wall display of just random little different shaped keys when I was 10 or 11 because I was so obsessed with keys. I honestly didn't know that about this book. Jodi Picoult's Small Great Things. This is a pretty floppy book. The Beauty in Breaking. First of all, a stunning cover, a spine in the back. It's kind of shaped like an anatomical heart. It's a memoir by Michelle Harper. In this poignant and moving memoir, an emergency room physician explores how a life of service to others taught her how to heal herself. Phenomenal. Wow. I'm definitely not going to give that away. Middlesex. I just bought this at Goodwill, so I'm going to keep this. The Finer Points of Sausage Dogs. The Whimsical Skeleton. I think that is their handle. I love you, by the way. I love all your comments. They said that they read this, and I was so shocked because I didn't expect anyone to have read this particular book from my book haul. I just think that's so funny. She said there was hilariously sad portion of the book, so it's so short that I think this is going to be my next read. 1Q84. Look at this fatty. Definitely not getting rid of that. I just got it. I'm like stacking books on the top of other books, and I don't like doing that. I also bought these at a thrift store. Look how cute they are. They're little salt and pepper shakers. My beautiful Magnolia Parks series. Will not be getting rid of these babies. I love the covers. So I stalked Jessica Hastings on Instagram. I follow her, and I think it's one of her best friends who designed the covers for all her books. And doesn't that just make you want to cry? Besties in business together. Like, that's phenomenal. And I love how different they are. She made a point of wanting to make her romance novels have an interesting cover that's not like all the others, and I think they hit it out of the park. Haven't gotten to Daisy Hates The Great Undoing yet. I just don't want it to be over. I'm pretty sure the 5th one comes out in July of this year, so I feel like my brain is just waiting because I know that it'll probably end off on a cliffhanger and I'll want to read the next one, so I'm just gonna hold off because I'm strong. The Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe, a lesbian love story, I believe, or a queer love story, and it's also Asian American, I believe. Yes, America in 1954 is not a safe place for two girls to fall in love. Red Scare paranoia threatens everyone, including Chinese Americans like Lily. With deportation looming over her father, Lily and Kath risk everything for love. Oh, beautiful. This is one of the few books that I bought new because I wanted it so badly. If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I've heard so many good things about it. I bought it during a Target buy two get one. I tried to read the audiobook, but I think there are like so many Shakespearean references that it just goes straight over my head in the audiobook, so I need to pick this up physically. Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I have not been in the mental space to pick this up yet because Chanel Miller's story means so much to me personally. I did her court letter as a speech when I was in speech and debate in high school, and I literally cried every time I did it. I cried every time I did that speech. And then a few years later, after I graduated, it came out that her name was Chanel Miller. She is no longer this anonymous woman, and I finally decided to buy this. I think again last year for my birthday I asked my mom for this. I know that this will be probably a lifetime favorite, but I'm just not ready yet. Conversations on Love by Natasha Lunn. I got it when it just came out actually, so I spent more than $15 on this book, which is not something that I do usually. All about the different kinds of love. I'm only 46 pages through it, and these are already all the tabs that I have in this book. So obviously I'm very much enjoying it. I already have so many little notes and highlight and underline. And I also matched it's only 4 of them, tabs to the book cover. I love doing that. If You Could See the Sun, I bought it on sale at Target. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I really liked Normal People. I thought that I didn't, but then I thought about it for several weeks after I finished reading it, and I was like, maybe I did like Normal People. I just haven't had the chance to pick up Beautiful World, Where Are You yet. Frederick Bachman, The Winners, such a big book. I wish it was 1,000 pages longer, to be honest. The Beartown series is officially over. It was a beautiful, heartbreaking end to the most important series ever. Beartown paperback and hardcover are not different. Writers and Lovers, Lily King. I just got it. Thank You for Listening by Julia Wayland. I bought it from eBay used, so it was only $7. One of my favorite romance reads of this year. I think it's one of my favorite romances ever, to be honest. And also, it's pink. Isn't that cute? It's bright pink. I love that. The Disappearing Earth by Julia Phillips. I picked this up at the library for 50 cents, I think. But I just thought the cover was pretty. I'll get to it one day. I took a lunch break. The next book is The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. It is about gay Uncle Patrick. Stephen Rowley is the narrator for his own audiobook. He did it so well. The comedic timing, the banter, the dialogue, it just came out so naturally. It made this book really come to life. Patrick has to take care of his niece and his nephew. They call him Gup, gay Uncle Patrick. So cute. This book came off so insightful without being pretentious, in that like there are children written in the book, and a lot of times kids in books are written off as idiots, or everything is just immediately spelled out for them because they're kids. I don't know, you don't really find naturally written kids in books often, but I really loved how they did it. There is so many messages about grief and moving forward and acceptance. It just did it really well. I really like this book. Big Friendship, How We Keep Each Other Close. I just thought that this would be an important read. Haven't read it though. And if you couldn't tell already, literally my bookshelf does not have any organization whatsoever. It'll piss some of you off. None of these books are the same genre. None of it makes sense. I just shove books where they fit, which is why I'm doing this unhaul, which is why I want to do a reorganization video. Please don't tell me that this doesn't make sense, because I know it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me either. Great Believers, Rebecca Makkai. All the comments in my videos mentioning this book says that I have to read it, that they really enjoyed it, so I'm very excited. Happy Place by Emily Henry, a new favorite of mine. I just felt like the miscommunication trope was done really well. Personally for me, I don't love the miscommunication trope. I don't feel like people we meet on vacation did it right. Love in all shapes and forms. Love in every single crevice of your life. Love this book. What a heavy dude. To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. Found it at a church sale. Literally $1. Also found this at a church sale. Circe by Madeline Miller. So many books on my TBR. I don't think I'm going to get rid of any of the books on this shelf, so I'll just quickly go through them, and then I'm going to take all these books off its shelf. In the pandemic, my hyperfixation and hobby was getting into anime embroidery. The girls that I babysit actually customized this journal for me, and I haven't opened it because I'm obsessed with it, and I think it's such a thoughtful gift. This is a commission that I did actually of the Haikyuu boys. I will put my embroidery Instagram if you want to stalk me. All Stories Are Love Stories by Elizabeth Purser, an achingly beautiful novel about the power of nature, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring strength of love. I think I want to keep that one. The Whale, a love story. The Whale captures not only a transformative relationship, long the subject of speculation, between two of our most endearing authors, but also their exhilarating moment in history when a community of ambitious writers was creating truly American literature for the first time. Definitely still want to read that. When You Call My Name by Tucker Shaw. It's the 1990s in New York City, and two boys, each facing a terrifying crisis of self-worth, tumble into one another's lives, changing both forever. This is queer literature I absolutely absolutely want to read it. Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I just found this at a Goodwill. Cold Mountain, Charles Fraser. This is another one that Hero took a chunk out of. Fraser reveals marked insight into the man's relationship to the land and the dangers of solitude. I actually think I am gonna give this away. I can borrow it from Libby. Fates and Furies, Love Songs of W.E. Du Bois, Transcendent Kingdom I'm not gonna give away, Silent Patient. I want to read physically, which is the only reason why I wouldn't borrow it at Libby. Oh, look. He plays fetch. And then he goes in there. Isn't that so funny? Trust Exercise by Susan Choi. I believe this is YA, right? Wiser understandings of the true capacities of adolescents and of the powers and responsibilities of adults. Look how much Hero chonked on The Kindness of Strangers, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, Clara and the Sun, and Severance by Ling Ma. I'm gonna keep all of these. We are getting back to Chopped. I feel like I was really lenient with these 3 shelves because I put a lot of the most interesting books. I really like to have them right at my eyesight, but this is my top shelf. So these are books that I will happily chop. Let's get started with an easy one. Funny you should ask. I take it back. It's not that easy. In one of my other videos, I actually said I did not like this book, but I've kept it because I love the cover, which is true. This cover is so pretty. I got declined for the E-arc for her next book. She's coming out with another one, very similar cover, very similar aesthetic. Elisa Sussman really disappointed me with this book. It is about a writer and an actor who go on this interview turned date, and they end up having really good chemistry, and then they go about their separate ways, and 10 years later they meet again. Kind of a second chance romance. This deliciously irresistible novel will have you hanging on until the last word. Honestly, no, because I feel like it really fell flat. Girl, you met him 10 years ago. You're in love with him. I don't know, the insta-love thing, I don't like that trope, so I don't think I was into this. Again, one of the cutest covers ever, but fully disappointed in the story. So I'm gonna give this away. Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights, the Penguin Classics version. I cannot give this away. Stunner. Wait, do I already have Wuthering Heights? That was Great Expectations, right? I don't really want too many copies of the same book. Speaking of the same copies, I have 3 copies of On the Jellicoe Road. One of my literal favorite books ever, Melinda Marchetta. It's a YA romance / coming of age. I literally discovered this because a page on Tumblr alone convinced me to read it. The quote, I still remember. I think I found it in like 2014, 2013. So he's driving, right? And she's in the passenger seat and he's like talking to her. I'm gonna start blushing. She says, oh, I would kiss you if you weren't driving. And then he pulls over and he looks at her and he goes, I'm not driving anymore. I'm not driving anymore. Oh my god. So that quote alone convinced me to read it and is now one of my all-time favorite books ever. I don't have the heart to donate any of these, and honestly, I'm okay with that. I want the hardcover copy. I want a paperback to give my friends to borrow, and then I will probably annotate one. This book just makes me so happy. So it's a coming of age. You're kind of unraveling the story as the main character unravels the story. At age 11, Taylor Markham was abandoned by her mother. At 14, she ran away from boarding school, only to be tracked down and brought back by a mysterious stranger. Now 17, Taylor's the reluctant leader of her school's underground community, whose annual territory war with the townies and visiting cadets has just begun. This year, though, the cadets are led by Jonah Griggs, and Taylor can't avoid his intense gaze for long. To make matters worse, Hannah, the one adult Taylor trusts, has disappeared. But if Taylor can piece together the clues Hannah left behind, the truth she uncovers might not just settle her past, but also change her future. So there's just so much going on. Underground community at a boarding school, that's so interesting, right? And then not only is it a romance, it's like a kind of enemies to lovers romance, because Taylor is the leader of one of the groups and then Jonah is the leader of the other group. So there's that going on, and you just follow Taylor. She's literally discovering so much about herself, her past, her family. Even if you are not into YAs, I still wholeheartedly recommend this. I will probably talk more about it in a video that I make my all-time favorite books. I have 3 copies of it and I can't get rid of any of them, so that should say something. something. Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. A part of me wants to keep this, but then the chopped part of me knows that I will probably just read this as an audiobook on Libby. There are more intriguing books on my physical TBR that I would get to before this one. I'm gonna give it to someone who would appreciate it more than me. The Light We Lost, a 13-year odyssey of dreams, jealousies, and ultimately of love. Their journey takes Lucy and Gabe continents apart, but never out of each other's heart. And Lucy will find herself asking, was it fate that brought them together? Is it choice that has kept them away? See, that sounds interesting, but again, I feel like if I really do want to read this, I would get it on Libby. This is giving very much Before We Were Strangers. I love Before We Were Strangers. My friend is borrowing my copy right now. This sounds like a second chance romance, but I'm gonna give away. Specials by Scott Westerfield. This is part of that Uglies series. I don't think I have the capacity to even start a 4-book series. If anyone has read this, please let me know if this gives off dystopian, Divergent vibes. I'm gonna give this away. After You'd Gone by Maggie O'Farrell. I've had this book, honestly, since I was 13 or 14. I don't think I've ever finished it. That's not a good sign. Alice's sister comes to pick her up at the train station. They find her wild-eyed, confused, and insistent on returning to London that very minute. Only a few hours later, they receive terrible news. Alice is lying in a coma after an accident that may or may not have been a suicide attempt. While her life hangs in the balance, Alice's family gathers at her bedside. As they wait, argue, and remember, long-buried tensions rise to the surface. Alice, meanwhile, sliding between different levels of consciousness, recalls her past and the end of a tragic love affair. Hopefully someone will give this the love that it deserves. Amy Tan, Saving Fish from Drowning. But after her mysterious death, Bibi watches aghast from her ghostly perch as the travelers veer off her itinerary and embark on a trail paved with cultural gaffes, trivial curses, Buddhist illusions, and romantic desires. On Christmas morning, the tourists cruise across a misty lake and disappear. Oh my gosh. Being critical of myself. I love Amy Tan, but I don't think I would physically pick this up. A Woman Like That. Lesbian and bisexual writers tell their coming out stories. I haven't read it. I got it at a thrift store in Hawaii. This will just rock my world, I'm sure. Edited by Joan Larkin. Eve Babbitt's Eve's Hollywood. Not gonna give this away. Oh my gosh. Okay, I Promise You My Love, a collection of poems on love edited by Susan Paulus Schutz. I picked this up from a used bookstore and I wasn't going to. This is gonna be sad, you guys. We looked inside. There are dedications that were scribbled out. You can see there's a name here, forever ... with a heart, and there's a hand-painted rose. It literally almost made me and my friend start crying in the store. And I just couldn't break this book's heart again by not picking it up. Is that just not so sad? I literally have physical proof of someone else's love. Isn't that insane? This is another library pickup. Let the Great World Spin. The fact that I don't know anything about it just makes this all better. I want to go into it blind, so I'm gonna keep it. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Honestly, I'm gonna give this away. Citrus County by John Brandon makes you laugh even as it breaks your heart. There shouldn't be a Citrus County. Teenage romance should be difficult, but not this difficult. Boys like Toby should cause trouble, but not this much. The moon should glow gently over children safe in their beds. Uncles in their rockers should be kind. Teachers should guide to inspire. Shelby should be her own hero, the first hero of Citrus County. She should rescue her sister from underground, rescue Toby from his life. Her destiny shouldn't be a hero's destiny. I'm gonna give this away, but it looks really good. Yes Please by Amy Poehler. I've had this since I was in high school. I remember finding this funny, but I also don't know anything about it anymore. Hopefully someone really enjoys it. I freaking love Amy Poehler. She is so funny. The Midnight Library. This blew up in the pandemic and I DNF'd this, so I'm gonna give this away. I wish I liked this book, but it just didn't do it for me. Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. I actually read this in high school, and again, I feel like it was so nuanced about mental health, and I was a little bit younger and I might have not understood it fully. Not that teenagers can't understand it, but I think personally I didn't. It is about a therapist who goes to therapy herself, but I truly don't think I will ever read it again. The Night Circus, I definitely want to keep. Another poetry collection, Century Swept Brutal by Zach Savage. It just piqued my interest. If you don't like when people don't use quotation marks, you will hate this. The First Lightning was horizontal. Sun and skin do not rhyme. They are the same word. You can do anything until it becomes beautiful. I'm gonna keep this. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. I found this at Goodwill. I was super jazzed about it. I think that was like a year and a half ago, and I still have not picked this up. I think people have very polarizing opinions about it. I believe this person has depression and she sleeps through her year essentially. I just don't think I want to read about that. I hope this finds another home. Shadow of a Bull. Caught in a web not of his making, Manalo struggles to retain his pride, his self-respect, and his independence go far beyond the world of the bullfighters and the borders of Spain. They are the struggles of every boy in the process of becoming a man. Well, it's short enough. I think I actually am really interested in reading this, so I'm gonna keep it. The Art of Racing in the Rain. Cute little puppy on the cover. I'm gonna give this away. I see this in thrift stores all the time if I want another copy. The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood. I don't remember why I purchased this, but I bought it on eBay because I saw something and it really intrigued me. For Penelope, Odysseus' wife, running a kingdom while her husband is away fighting in the Trojan War is no simple matter. Already distressed that he has been lured away because of the shocking behavior of her beautiful cousin Helen, Penelope must also raise her wayward son, face scandalous rumors, and keep more than 100 lustful, greedy, and bloodthirsty suitors at bay. Margaret Atwood gives voice to Penelope, one of the most infamous heroines, so that she could tell her story at last and set the record straight once and for all. Okay, I probably bought this because I was looking for female perspectives of mythology. I'm very interested in mythology, so I'm gonna keep it. Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, I will absolutely be keeping. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. This is actually my girlfriend's copy, she gave it to me. Art of Hearing Heartbeats by Jan Philip Senker. What Julia discovers is the tale of unimaginable hardship, resilience, and passion that will forever change her life. It looks very pretty, but again, so many other books that pique my interest more. A few tricks along the way. Daily reflections for gay men, queer boys, and magnificent queens and the people who love them. I'm absolutely going to keep this. Normal People by Sally Rooney. This is my tabbed and annotated copy, so I will not be giving this away. Haruki Murakami's Kafka on the Shore. I definitely want to be reading this. I've heard good things about this one specifically. Feast of Love. Late one night, Charlie Baxter wakes up with a start from a bad dream and decides to take a walk. After catching sight of two lovers entangled together on the 50-yard line of the football field, he comes upon Bradley Smith, a friend and fellow insomniac, who convinces Charlie to listen to the first of many tales that will become a luminous narrative of love in its sublime, agonizing, and internal complexity. You know what? This drew me in. I want to keep it. I didn't think I was gonna, but it sounds interesting. Ow, my toe. Empire of the Sun by J.G. Ballard. Ballard's enduring novel of war and deprivation, internment camps and death marches, and starvation and survival is an honest coming-of-age tale set in a world thrown utterly out of joint. This sounds absolutely devastating, and I'm gonna give it away. The Iliad of Homer, which I know I really got into mythology. Well, my love of mythology started with my love for reading because I got into Percy Jackson when I was in 4th and 5th grade. I was absolutely obsessed, dude. I went on DeviantArt. I was on all those forums. I was reading fan fiction. I needed fan art. I was obsessed. When I tell you I had a Camp Half-Blood shirt, I had the necklace, dude, I was so in it. So that really got me into mythology, just like a lifelong interest. I think I just really wanted a copy. I think I have a couple copies, so we'll need to go over which copies I want. So I'll keep this for now, but I might be giving this away. Okay. What an ordeal. After all of that, 6 shelves took me 2 days. I unhauled 35 books. I'm honestly really proud of myself. It just feels really refreshing. Declutter. I hope that these books go to a loving new home that can appreciate them more than I do. I have one more bookshelf and a couple other book nooks that I need to go through, so I will be making a couple more unhaul videos, and then I'm going to try and reorganize my entire book collection. So we'll see at the end how many books in total I've decided to unhaul. I'm pretty excited. I truly feel like I treated my bookshelves like a bookstore, and I've never done that before. I really got to take a deep dive into what books I own, what the premises are, if I really do enjoy it, if my book taste has changed over the last couple years. So I hope this really does inspire you to treat your own bookshelves like a bookstore. I hope you find some really amazing reads that you didn't even know that you had, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.